The Gallagher Shots podcast is sponsored by Tyre Spot, the North East's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Gallagher Shots YouTube channel and podcast. I'm Andy, I'm here with Daryl, Nichol and Joe. The gang's back together. We're doing a match preview. I have no idea what day it is, what year it is, what season it is. I think the Premier League season's still going on, just about. I was just saying to Daryl before we get on, it feels like this is a brand new season with all these games at the weekend, but we've won the cup. We've got to go normal business now.
There it is, man.
For anyone watching on the video, this is Daryl's picture, copyright Daryl Mitchell-Hill.
Yeah.
Lovely picture of Eddie and the gang in the cup. This is going to be an absolute shambles, this recording, because we're all just in cup fever still. But we are playing Brentford in the Premier League at home Wednesday night. It's the start of this little 10-game mini league, as Daryl said to me beforehand, going into the last part of the season. Players said at the Town Moor and obviously on the pitch after Wembley, the goal now is Champions League football. It's top four. Not that a bad run in the league would be, a disappointing season, obviously, after everything we've been through. But, it's back to business and we know the players will be on it. So before we get into Brentford itself, us lads haven't actually had a chance to talk about the final and our experience and whatever. And I think we're not quite bored of talking about it yet. And hopefully you guys aren't bored of listening to it yet. So, Mr. Joe, how are you feeling as a Newcastle United fan right now?
I'm feeling. I'm in a weird space, mate. It's like you say. It's strange that this has kind of come in the middle of the season when we're still, vying for top four and everything, and you've kind of had to put that to one side for the last couple of weeks whilst you've digested what has been quite literally a once in a lifetime experience. I still don't think I've fully processed the fact that we've won the cup, and I keep thinking back to when that full-time whistle went, and I don't know about you, mate, but it's still a blur. I don't fully recollect exactly what I did, who I hugged, how many times I cried, just the processing of it all. It was absolutely insane. And I think every single person associated with Newcastle United has, for once, been grateful for an international break so that we can fully soak this up. Have the parade yesterday at the time of recording and just be able to actually process everything that's happened. Now, the final itself, Christ, we've played so well, and not to put too much pressure on the lads because I think no matter what happens here, this is arguably the greatest season that we've ever had in a long time. But we've shown that we can do it against the very, very best team on the very biggest stage. And I've got to think that it's got to pile us with loads of momentum going into the final stage of the season, But it's been class that we've been able to enjoy the celebrations for a long period of time. We've not had to rush into another game, and we've had that moment with everyone, in the city yesterday, and everyone, watching like from afar as well, like myself. It's been class. Still on cloud nine. We've won the cup,
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's like, honestly, the whole thing's been surreal. And I had a bit of a moment yesterday watching the parade, seeing how many people were in the city. And I had a bit of a moment where I said, I'm so grateful I got to be at Wembley for that. I'm in such a privileged position that I got to be there and experience that with my dad and one of my best mates. And my dad was with his mate who he's been going with since before I was born, as he calls the drunken years, before I came and ruined it all, and he couldn't do that anymore. But it's just surreal, and it just feels like, Eddie Howe's give us this confidence as fans that we can beat anyone, but now it's like, it just feels like we're going to win every game now forever, and everything's going to be fine forever. I mean, Nichol, how are you feeling? I know you're obviously there at Wembley.
Yeah, just to echo what you two said, really. I mean, yeah, I was there, and I was privileged, like you were, to be there. We had Ian Stag do on Saturday in Covent Garden. That was brilliant.
Yes, if anyone saw, I believe he was meant to be a magpie, but I thought he looked like the Assassin's Creed witch doctor.
He tried, man. He tried. It was good. Plenty of photos from that night, I'll tell you.
He did a lot of good challenges as well, so fair play to Ian for that, and he had a great wedding as well. So he's currently on his honeymoon as well, so good for him. Yeah, and then the Sunday when we had captioned it, it was the best day of my life. It was the best day of my life so far, so it was amazing. The parade yesterday was good. It wasn't as good as the Sunday at Wembley for me, but it was still really amazing. I think it was probably better for people who didn't get to go down to London or didn't get to go to the stadium. I think that was their day. I think it would have been Dan Burns' day as well, because he couldn't really celebrate afterwards going to England as well. So I think yesterday was probably his party. But yeah, the last 2 weeks I've been, just going around randomly thinking, hey, we won the cup. Like, what we doing?
I feel like the parade's come at a good time, almost for like a little bit of closure, for want of a better phrase, for everyone, just to cement the past sort of couple of weeks. And it's like, okay, we've done it. This has been the celebration. It's been the big sort of like pinnacle. Now we can not like close that chapter just yet, because we'll be speaking about it for a long, long time. But we can sort of close that for now and press on for the rest of the season, because we do have, as we're eventually going to get onto, some really important games that
we might not get onto it.
Got to pick up points on. I think we'll just be speaking about the cup final forever, but we do have, we have a big challenge ahead of ourselves, but we've put ourselves in such a class position. I think it can go one of two ways, can't it? Really, the rest of the season, it can be a case of we've almost done what we set out to do and we kind of fall off. But I don't think we will do that. I think we will. I mean, obviously, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves here, but I do think that it's just going to give us confidence, and like I say, we've shown we can do it against the best teams. So we've got to take that into the last bit of the season.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie will let them slip up now. That
that's the thing.
You can tell.
When he was on stage yesterday, he even said we've got 10 Premier League games left.
Yeah.
We need to go.
Exactly. And it was important that he said that to everyone, wasn't it? It's like, okay, we've had our fun, got to crack on now. Let's get back to business and let's start smashing teams like we normally do.
But it was amazing, and I'm still singing "Pump It Up" and
Andro Tonali.
So Bruno, I think. Oh, Bruno, please do not swear. Fucking legends. That was great. Well, Daryl, you're obviously at the parade as well. It's a cracking photo you got there. Are you up on the spiral there, are you?
I was, yeah. So located on the spiral car park, right next to a photographer and a cameraman who I think, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was club images. So if you got any images from the car park on the live feed, I was right next to that camera position. Now I had a different experience of the final to all three of you, because I wasn't down in London. Had a few things on with work that I needed to focus on ever so slightly more than the final, sadly. And I actually did turn down a ticket for the final as well, in order to do that, which I was a little bit gutted about. But I was able to share the experience and the game with the other half, and it was a wonderful moment at full time. Was able to I actually struggled to take in the enormity of what had just happened and what I just watched. And I got a bit emotional. A couple of tears shed of joy, of course. And to be honest, I think yesterday was, like as Nichol said, I think yesterday was my closure. To see the lads in the flesh and the cup, and it really brought everything back round full circle, because it felt for a while like the moment of the final and the final whistle of the final and the cup lift and everything that came with it on the day had passed us by, and I was feeling a little bit withdrawn from it all, and sort of like, a little bit depressed by it that I wasn't there or anything like that. And obviously to say everything yesterday was just brought it all back and sort of brought everything full circle, and it felt complete. It was really nice, and I think it's important that Joe said there it was a good time to do it. I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to come out of an international break and go straight into a game without allowing not just the fans but the players and the staff as well a proper moment to celebrate in the city. So yesterday was hugely important. I mean, for me, they could have just done 3 or 4 laps of the city rather than have the Town Moor event. But, they pulled it off, and it was a great event all round. I mean, we were still in that spiral car park for about 2.5 hours before the lads came. It was a really, really nice atmosphere. It was just nice to see everybody pulling in one direction, pulling together. It didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Everyone, it was just, are you there in black and white? Happy days. And funny enough, before the lads came through, about maybe half an hour before they started clearing the road for the parade to get there, there was a bloke who'd had a can in hand and clearly had a few cans beforehand in a Liverpool shirt, just wandering down the middle of the road, going over to people on our side and just picking out people, and just, he was in good spirits because he was shaking everybody's hands and he was just saying congratulations and all that, and nobody gave him a pick of bother. And it was just a nice thing to say, and he was quite clearly saying that he was pleased it was us.
Yeah,
That,
I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans
you know
say
what
that.
I mean? Yeah, it's a lot has been said by Liverpool fans, but yeah, so it's an entirely different experience to the three of you by not being in London on the day, but it just all came full circle yesterday. It was lovely.
I still think he's a bit brave walking around town in a Liverpool shirt on that day of our days. He's asking. I'm not saying, you know.
He was
anyway,
asking for bother, but
he's
he was
asking for
fine.
bother there, like.
Yeah, when there's 300,000 people out in force, there's going to be at least one or two people that would just want to fill him in. But you know, it is what it is. Apparently, it didn't seem like there was much bother, to be honest. But
No, not at all, man.
I mean,
Everyone was too
I'm
busy climbing trees and lampposts and else.
yeah,
Road signs, aye.
and I'm sailing down the Sandman apparently. But I had the opposite situation to you, Daryl, but the same logic in that I didn't go down because I live in County Durham, so it would have been not a massive effort to get in. But I said to me mate and my dad, who obviously both at Wembley, and none of us went down to the town we were all into town. I kind of just said, well, I feel like I've had my moment, and that I don't really need to do that because I've got my memory of it, and I was almost worried about sort of tarnishing that memory in a way. It was a bit odd, and so I just thought I'm happy not to. But I mean, Nichol, in terms of moving forward with the season, this must just give everyone. It's been obviously a streaky season. That game against Brentford earlier in the season was in that run where there was all sorts going on within the fan base. Some people questioning how, some people questioning the commitment of the players. Blah blah blah. This cup win has got to just give them 100% confidence moving forward. You'd have thought.
Yeah, you'd like to hope so, and I think it's important that not important. It's good that we've got a home game because I think the atmosphere is going to be really good on Wednesday. I'm hoping for that anyway. I know War Flags are going to have something planned for Wednesday, so yeah, we'll hope that the lads can just kick on. Like I said before, I don't think Eddie will let them slip up. I don't think they'll want to either. I think, you know, all the scenes that they've had over the last 2 weeks, they're going to want to show you another taste of that in the future, because
I wonder if they can fit that big Eddie surfer that they had hanging off the Sandman in the Gallagher end.
I was thinking that, but to be honest with you, that's so big. I think that would honestly gone from like level 7 down to pitch side, no bother.
You'd have to hang it
was
from the roof of the
absolutely
stadium.
massive.
Yeah,
You'd have to hang it from the stadium, the roof.
Yeah, my
you couldn't
idea
do it any other way.
I don't know if they're going to do this, but you know the flag they had at Wembley, where they left the
mark,
if they fill it in with this year's team.
Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
That's what I had.
Anyone from War Flags, if you are listening, get that on your.
It's a tight turnaround, but yeah.
Not for Wednesday, maybe for the end of the season. You know, that would be nice.
Just hire 10,000 people with Sharpies, and they can all just do it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, but I'm sure the players are going to want more days like yesterday and 2 weeks ago. So if they finish in the top 4, there'll be a really good feeling about the club at the end of the season, and then they can go in that transfer window and attract a lot more players. I think, you know, other players surely from other teams are looking at that yesterday and going, bloody hell, we wouldn't get that at Wolves. Or, no offense, Wolves. But, you know,
that's a random one to pick out.
It's because I saw Cunha was wanting away this weekend, so I'm thinking, do you want to
come? No, definitely. And Joe, obviously, we've obviously talked about confidence, but I mean, it must be a real vindication for Eddie Howe as well. The amount of effort he's been putting in since he came here to have that complete tactical domination over Liverpool. There'll have been times when he was doubting himself through the season, and hopefully, it's given him a lift, and hopefully those naysayers earlier in the season, there can be surely nobody now that will ever question anything with Eddie going forward.
No, ever. I mean, absolutely not. Like, listen, we've always, since Eddie Howe's come in, we've always been a really good cup team. It was only due to Kieran Trippier brain fart last season that we essentially didn't get to another final last year, because we would have had Borough over 2 legs and you'd fancy your chances against them. But, we've done really well for the most part in the Cups. And league, like you say, league is where we have moments of absolute brilliance, and then there's a few, we tend to have a few bogey teams. I'm thinking the likes of, Bournemouth, God, there's definitely one or two more where we just really struggle against them. But the tops, like standard, the old top six teams, we somehow manage to always get it tactically absolutely spot on against them. So when you look at Brentford, we've had mixed results against them, mixed fortunes. Obviously, we had a difficult result against them earlier this season, and as you alluded to, and it was the game right before, if you remember, we went on that 9-10 winning streak. So from them, we absolutely battered teams left, right, and centre. But yeah, I think, like I said earlier in the show, we've shown that we can do it against the biggest teams on the biggest stage. So Eddie Howe, has got to take that with a lot of positivity, and he's done the thing that no other Newcastle manager has done for a lifetime. So yeah, he's said they've done things differently from the last final to this time. So that they've obviously grown in with that experience, and yeah, coming off the back of being Liverpool at Wembley, you've got to think, right, well, if I can do it against them, I can do it against anyone. Brentford, good team, decent players. Nothing's guaranteed in the league, but why not? Why can't we? We're going to go into every game now till the end of the season going, why not?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and Daryl, Brentford, they're having a very Brentfordy season. They're in 11th. They're doing what Brentford do. They're very, very sort of, I don't want to say boring because they're not. They're a good team. They've scored a lot more goals this season than they had done previously. But you just know what you're going to get with Brentford. They've got a really good manager, good infrastructure, decent squad. What have you made of Brentford generally?
They've proven themselves now to be quite a solid Premier League team, haven't they? They don't really ever look in any danger of being sucked into any sort of relegation battle. And like you say, Thomas Frank's got them playing a nice style of football. They can get themselves into positions where they go on good runs. Sometimes that's all based on home games rather than away games, or sometimes it's vice versa as well. I mean, they were terrible at home before they played us earlier in the season, and
Well,
then they turned
famously,
it
they
around.
were ridiculous at home and terrible away, weren't they? They were a bit like us.
Yeah,
But now
yeah,
it's
and then
kind of
it
they're a bit
sort
more
of flipped it on
haphazard.
the head and all. Yeah, so it's all happened there. And obviously, we had them in the League Cup as well. Hang on, where is it? For those watching that League Cup there, we had them in
That
the
League
League Cup
Cup's
as
got
well.
black and white ribbons on it. Did we win the
It's
cup?
great, isn't it? So we had them in the Cup at St James's, and that was a pretty decent game as well. We came out of that one with a good result, obviously, because that happened. Black and white ribbons on this. Anyway, yeah. So they are, they're not it's going to be a tough game. They're not an easy team to come up against because they have dangerous players and they're very potent with the forwards as well. Vissa and Burmo are, they're very, very good forwards and very prolific in front of goal. I mean, if anybody playing FPL know you need to have at least one of them in your team because they're always guaranteed to get you points of some sort every week. And again, defensively, the keeper's pretty decent. They can be quite solid at the back, but they are prone to leaking a few goals as well. That's happened a couple of times this season. But I am ever so slightly worried, and I just haven't. I mentioned it before we started recording. Just a very niggly worry about it possibly being something from our side, like after the Lord Mayor's show. However, as Joe and Nichol have rightly alluded to, I think not just the players but Eddie himself just won't allow that to happen. And you know what? We can't. And I think, if anything, the supporters will play a huge part in that as well because, Nichol said the place will be bouncing Wednesday night, and I cannot wait to be there. And a proper homecoming at the stadium inside for a game to welcome back our League Cup winners. And it'll be a lovely night. And I think the atmosphere will be absolutely electric. And that's the one thing that I think will carry us over the line. I actually think it'll be quite an entertaining game as well. I think, talking about Brentford's style, I think Thomas Frank will probably try and tell them to go out and silence the crowd. So it might be quite might be quite an ugly start, let's say. So they might just put a low block in and say, "Come and get with," and they'll try and stifle everything and try and suck out all the energy of the atmosphere and leave the place flat before they then can, put their stamp on the game and try and get into it. However, that place will be bouncing so much. I think we'll just, not to jump the gun too much, but I think we'll just jump out there and get on top of them early and start dominating.
Yeah, I think I agree. You mentioned about Visser and Mbeumo. When you look at the stats for the team, they're very much carrying the goal threat. The next person down is that Sharda, I believe.
Kevin, yeah.
But it's them two, and Nichol with Mbeumo. You're looking at a team where the main threat comes from that inverted winger on the right hand side. And I don't know if you remember our last game, but it was against Liverpool, who have quite a good inverted winger on the right-hand side. And Livramento did a great job on him. So do you see it being a similar kind of setup defensively?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll have the same team as what started that final, because I believe Gordon's still
For the rest of the season.
Yeah. I think Gordon's he's got one left on his suspension, so he'll miss Wednesday. So I think it'll be Barnes on the wing, but yeah, defensively same back five if you like. I mean, Eddie's definitely now, he's favouring Nick Pope now, isn't he? So I think that's locked in now for the rest of the season, unless anything changes, like injury wise. So yeah, same back five, and let's hope Tino can keep him quiet.
Yeah, same back five. And George, you think the other positions further up exactly the same as well?
Pick themselves, mate. Yeah, so like you say, Gordon's injured. The lads have had a good break. I know some of them been international duty, but God, I mean, the midfield picks itself, doesn't it? They're all fine. Barnes is a shoo-in for Gordon. Listen, I mean, Brentford, as we said before, they leave space open. They're not a team that we have to worry so much about being a really tight defensive block. They do concede quite a lot of space on the counter attack. Perfect for our wingers and obviously Isak to get in there and cause them a load of bother. So yeah, it's a bit of a it's a bit boring right now almost, because Eddie Howe's hand is almost kind of forced. It's like it's forced in the best kind of way. Like, I've only got the League Cup winning sides here to pick from. But we don't really have that much off the bench, which is it's a bit of a shame at the moment, with a mix of injuries. And yeah, okay, you've got Callum Wilson who's coming back on, but he's still looking a little bit rusty. Miley, be nice to see Miley get a few minutes, depending on the state of the game. But yeah, I mean, overall, it kind of is what it is. Holds out at the end of the season. So Tino goes in there, like we say, in back five. It should be interesting to see how we play, because against Liverpool we didn't have as much of the ball. Played really well on the counter attack. I thought Barnes, going back to the Liverpool game because why not? Barnes linked up really well with Isak on quite a few occasions, especially when Barnes came a little bit more central and they kind of sort of went to and fro. So I'd like to see a bit more of that.
There was a bit of that with Tino as well, when Tino got forward.
I mean, that's it. We said we criticised, going back to the West Ham game, we criticised Tino for not using his left foot enough. He was quite hesitant to get onto the byline, and that did cost us a few chances. Now, obviously, against Liverpool, Isak's goal, amongst a few other things, Tino was getting far more down the left and using his using the left-hand side a lot more and actually getting some balls in. So hopefully we see a bit more of that, because it might not be his favourite foot, but it's creating us chances. So yeah, I think that's about it. It is what it is.
It's mad, isn't it? It's like we've done so many of these previews where we could have done a 30-minute video on the team and all the different permutations of everyone in each position, but now it's just like you've got these, as Bruno said, fucking legends who you just feel like there's never gonna be any difference. I think there will be a slightly different tactical setup, because we know that Joe Linton was dropping quite far in to win the headers and the duels and everything like that. And I don't know if anyone watched Adam Cleary's video or the tactical breakdown of that game. It was really good, where he talked about Livramento leaving Salah behind him free as like a massive high risk, high reward strategy. I don't think we necessarily need to do something like that, because obviously Mbeumo's not Salah, and Mbeumo does kind of play more of a second striker a lot more as well.
He's going to cut in a lot more centrally, I would suspect, wouldn't he?
I would imagine he'll probably be instructed to do the defensive side of it as well. I think it's in his game anyway, but he will track back. He won't do a Salah, and he won't stay up there out the way on that wing. He will be tracking back, and he will be getting around the pitch.
Well, he doesn't need to do much to influence the game more than Salah did that time, because I think he had one key pass, and that was his only stat. And Daryl, I'm looking at this picture of yours again, and the bottom right-hand corner, I'm thinking, you've got a great photo of a fan there. He looks so happy, and it's Darren Eales, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
He is a fan.
It just looks like some bloke. He's so happy.
There he is.
That's him there. Yeah, cracking. So Daryl, you're the one here that's organised. Have you got reference for us?
I have, yes. And again, it feels like it's been ages since I last did one of these, and I don't think I can go into as much depth as I did for the League Cup final, but we've got some notes, and we'll go through them now. So the referee for the game on Wednesday night will be Peter Banks. It's his third Newcastle game of the season. However, Previous games were the 3-1 defeat at Fulham and the 1-0 loss to Brighton at St James's. So we haven't won a game when he's been in charge yet this season, but times are about to change. Brentford have also actually lost both PL games that he's taken charge of involving them this season. So they're on a losing streak too. So that might mean it's going to be 0-0. But it's not going to be because we're going to win. Peter Banks' stats for this season, he's done 17 Premier League games, issuing 68 yellows and 2 red cards. And I can also now tell you, because I've changed my stat provider, that he's awarded 5 penalties in his 17 games this season.
Change your stat provider.
Can't say you don't get premium content on Gallagher Shots.
I tell you. He was also twice a VAR official for Newcastle United games this season. The 4-1 loss to Bournemouth at St James's, but also the 4-3 win against Nottingham Forest. So a win and a loss in the VAR room for Peter Banks. And speaking of the VAR room, the actual VAR official for this game is going to be Craig Paulson. Now, it's the first time we've seen him do a game on VAR for us this season. However, he did referee the opening day win against Southampton, the 0-0 draw away at Everton, but also the loss at home to West Ham earlier this season, which was the 2-0 loss. So mixed fortunes for Craig Paulson this season with us. But, like I say, it's Harried. The Cup winners are going to win this game.
We can't just say that at the end of every point we make now.
Just League Cup winners.
Because we won the Cup.
We won the Cup.
That's true. Well, very good as always, Daryl. I'll stick with you for a prediction.
Right.
You've already said that you think we're going to win.
Yeah.
Is that just hate at the moment, or do you actually think
No, I am going to quash my own fears about being after the Lord Mayor's show and about we're not turning up on Wednesday night. I'm going to say we're going to win 3-1.
3-1.
Shall I give you some goals for us? Let's see. Isaac twice, Bruno, and Burmo for them. Actually, no, Vissak, because he's in my fantasy team. Vissak can get the goal for them.
Very good. That means he won't score if he's in your fantasy
Yeah,
team.
that's fine.
In the way the
Take it,
yeah. Nichol, are you in agreement?
Yeah, this will probably be the most positive predictions you're ever going to hear on this. Yeah,
I don't know. We've been facing defeat in Champions League games, and we've both said we're going to win these games. So
yeah,
we all actually very positive on the Cup final preview after I managed to get it out. He is
after you gave that speech. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm going to go similar to Daryl, but I'm going to go 4-1. Isaac 2, Harvey Barnes 1, and Bruno another, and then for them and Buemo, yeah, we'll have that. Lovely,
jubbly. Joe.
Well, one thing we've not actually mentioned is that Brentford's last 5 away games. So they've only won 5. I think they've only won 5 away games in the whole season, but they've been the last 5.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
Interesting.
But it doesn't actually matter a single job because we're going to absolutely batter them. Because anyhow, League Cup winning Mags are going to come back with absolute force and smash them. I reckon 3-1 as well. And I'll say Isak gets 2 and Big Joe Linton.
Ooh.
Joe Linton.
Joe Linton.
What would you call it? Joe Linton.
I tell you what, this is so positive. The smiles everywhere.
How can
you not? How can you not? You know,
give it a week. We'll be like, oh, we're shake.
Well, you know,
for now,
we're
riding on the high. You know, we're riding on the high, and you know what it is. This game, on a serious note, this game does it is massive, not just for the Champions League, but keeping that good momentum going. We've got a lot of fixtures coming up in a short space of time, so to get a win straight off the bat, after the League Cup, is absolutely huge. And our home form, we've got to make count. You know, we've really got to make that count towards this business end of the season. We've got some really winnable games, and I know we've said that so much across the season, and we've ended up,
I'll tell you what, right?
Results. But
we could get this. This is a one for clipping, right? Every game's a cup final, and look what happens when we go to cup finals.
Do we?
We do.
I can tell by Daryl.
Every game's a cup final.
Every game is a cup final, and we're used to winning those. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
We don't even really need to bother doing any previews, do we, for the rest of the season?
We'll just do 20-second clips. Yeah.
Right. League Cup winners, we're going to win.
All ref watch.
Yeah.
I think I'm not as high on the Carabao buzz as you guys. I know how football is. It's very, very fickle, and I know that will be a misplaced pass, and you'll get people, especially people that sit around me. It'll all start
at
again.
your end of the ground, that's right.
At my end, 100%, because I've got bloody Olivia Soprano that sits behind me. But no, I do think we'll win. I don't think we're going to blow them away because obviously there's two teams in a football match, and Brentford are a good team. They can beat anyone on the day. The Premier League's been like that. Apart from the bottom three, everyone's been beating everyone. So I think 2-1. I think 2-1. I think an Isak penalty, and just because Dan Burn is, he is the GOAT. He's got a GOAT named after him.
He has.
He's going to rifle another one in.
So what you're saying is Dan Burn, Isak, and I'm guessing they're going to score in the 95th minute after a misplaced, after a tackle from Bruno on the halfway line, just to really hair things up, and then we just cruise to a nice 2-1 victory.
Actually, yes, good point. So the first goal will be a Trippier corner that Burn will head in from 65 yards out. Yeah, then we'll have a Livermore across to Murphy who'll head it back. Les Ferdinand's there. And Bruno will try and do a pirouette in our most important game in history on 90 minutes and give it away. God, I was so stressed when he did that, Bruno. I love him, but please don't do that again. That about does it. It's positivity all around. Sorry that this has been a bit more of a haphazard ref watch. We're still buzzing off the cup win, and we haven't had a chance to all do a video or a podcast talking about it. So, and obviously Scott's not here to crack the whip and keep us in line either. So
we did do one for Canny Chatter. Was a few days after the final. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. We also finished.
Is anybody crying in it, Joe? Does anybody start crying?
Tear up at one point, but that's about it.
There's the premium quality content you want.
You get to watch me get so emotional.
I've got a photo. I've got a photo where my mate had stopped crying before I did, and he immediately tried to take a selfie, and I was still in floods of tears. And it's just like absolute shambles. It's like family members died, and someone's taking a picture of me. But emotions are still riding high. I mean, I can't wait to get back in the stadium with our home fans.
You know what it is? Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to like a nice, wholesome Premier League game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like everything from now on is just going to be that little level below. Even though I say they're really important in the all finals, but after the high of the League Cup, it feels like now it's just like, okay, smooth sailing. Let's just crack on.
I really can't wait to experience everything that you could feel on the streets yesterday, crammed in to St James's on Wednesday night. I just cannot wait to feel it, because I think it'll probably be on a par with PSG, and we all know how we feel about that PSG game. And we all know how we feel about the cup final win a couple of weeks ago. That one there.
Just in case you didn't know.
I think just to bottle all of that and squeeze it into the tight space of St James's, I think it'll be magical. I really do.
Well, the way the trophy parade was, I think there'll be people sat on the top of the East Stand at this race.
I know.
Crazy. And this would be a great time to get a new stadium. Yeah. I know I'm really hoping.
Hopefully, you got everyone wearing black and white. Everyone who's at Wembley's still got their scarves and everything. Those who haven't sold them on eBay, I know it's going to be a night game, but the weather's getting warmer. Yeah, I see a few more black and white shirts. It'll be lush. Be lush. Everyone's still riding a high. So Brentford's gonna come out and they're gonna be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
I mean, to be fair, from their point of view. Yeah, they'll just think we can spoil the party here, but I mean,
Brentford will be looking at the scenes from yesterday and think, we might be able to catch them here. But I think, like we say, I think Eddie Howe's had them in. He'll have had them in from like earlier this week whenever they got back. He'll have them in from today and say, listen, we've had a good time here, but the job's not done. We want Champions League next season, so crack on, batter them up the mags.
100%. It's like, remember that feeling? Do you want it again? Like, that's what he should be saying to them. Like, it's not a one-off. You can do this over and over again. Obviously, it won't be as good as the first time. But imagine if that cup, if we Photoshop that cup that Daryl's kept, if we Photoshop that cup that Daryl's keeps pointing to, imagine if that's a Champions League or Premier League.
That one.
Imagine the Champions League with black and white. I'm going crazy. We're not winning the Champions League, right?
Premier League
anyway,
black and white.
I'll move on. It's crazy.
That trophy cabinet needs to be bigger.
It does.
This needs to end because we're going to be saying like, we're going to be bringing players from the dead to win cups that we should have won in the past and things. We're going at the minute. It's crazy. But I hope everyone's enjoyed the positivity. Sometimes, I mean, Matty's not on this one, so it was always going to be more positive. But everyone's just great. And he's self-deprecating. He understands he's the negative one. But positivity everywhere. Hopefully, there's many more positive previews to come. I'm hoping that the next one rolls around, which I'm sure everyone will be watching, and we're not saying, "Oh yeah, we fluffed it. The season's back to being rubbish again." But we won the cup. Don't you know? Pump it up. Hope you've all enjoyed watching. Hope you've all enjoyed listening. Like and subscribe, do all those good things. Hit that bell, as these people like to say.
That's what she said.
You can go, Daryl, I'm trying to do my outro. I know everyone's excited. I don't do these very often. Just let me do my outro, Daryl.
Okay.
Right, does everyone just want to say one more thing about the cup to get it out your system? Or could I finish?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Right. I hope you enjoyed watching and listening. I've been Andy. There's been Daryl, Nichol, Joe. Like and subscribe. Become a member of a channel that supports a cup-winning club. See you all next time.
Are you sure you don't need to get it out?
Bye.
That's what she said.
Ending it now. This has been Shambles. Bring back Scott. Bye.